This is Dana from IT Path here, and we're going to tackle the question, am I too old to get into tech? Certainly, you're not. You might think that, but that's a lie. If you think that you are too old to get into tech, then you are selling yourself short and believing a lie. If you're above ground and your body is still warm and you have a desire to get into tech, then guess what? Tech might just be for you. I'm 51 years old now. I started my IT career from scratch with no formal IT education. I can tell you honestly that in my 25 plus years experience in IT, I would rather hire somebody with more life experience than a newbie out of college. You might think, well, that's fine for you, the employer, but what about me? What are the benefits for me to get into tech? Well, there are some that are symbiotic, and there are others that will just benefit you in general. One, life experience. Your life experience can benefit an employer. Two, you have transferable skills that can also benefit your employer because you're bringing over an entire skill set into IT. Three, there's a diversity of perspectives that you probably have that many younger people do not have. Technology is increasing in demand. There's job security. That benefits you. It also benefits your employer because you can build a relationship there and a secure future. Continue learning and education. That is another way that you can proceed to go down the IT path and expand your career options. There's flexibility in learning now. Back when I started IT, it was very hard. Like if I wanted to get an A+ certification, I had to pay $750 for each of two certifications. And that's a lot of money to invest in something that you're not sure if you want to pursue. But today's day and age, there's so much available for free, and there's such a variety of learning formats. There's growth potential. There's age is not a barrier to innovation. You've got to understand that your age does not construct the barrier. Actually, age and maturity allows you to innovate because of your perspectives and all of the experience that you can bring to the table. So let's dig into each of these areas. One, life experience. So often, life experience is left off of a resume. I'm not sure why. It doesn't make any sense to me. But if you are a father, a mother, been married for 5 years or 50, recently built a home, any of these experiences speak to the bigger you. It tells your employer that you're dedicated to getting things done, that you have experience to share with a team, that you have control of time and resources and energy, and that you can see the larger picture. Don't undervalue what that represents. Don't undervalue what represents the part of your life with the highest value, your family. So you got to get that out there. You got to get that on your resume. Ask yourself, what are my life experiences? You can take a piece of paper, you can list them out. Make sure those life experiences are being reflected in some way on your resume. Transferable skills. Next time you update your resume in consideration of a tech career, don't leave off the details about being a construction worker for 10 years or being a financial consultant or whatever your previous job happened to be. Why? Perhaps the role involves being in a warehouse and your potential employer sees the construction reference and thinks, I bet this person is going to keep an eye out on safety. Maybe safety is an issue in their warehouse. And they think, well, somebody with experience in construction can probably benefit my team in the safety aspects as well as their interest to get into technology. So ask yourself, what are my transferable skills? It could be a very wide array of things that you can put out there that are your transferable skills. Management, team management, you're working on projects, just working on DIY stuff. I mean, look behind me. There's a ton of DIY projects behind me, things that I have interested in, that I'm interested in. My son just built a one wheel, 3D printed the parts, drilled out some aluminum rail, and built a one wheel. That needs to be on his resume. The things or projects, those sorts of things that you've done, make sure that you're getting those on your resume. Diversity in perspectives. You have more time to see and think about what you've seen. You likely remember a time when you coached a little league team on or worked on a project or whatever, when things went off the rails, remember what that was like? You had to cope with it. You had to deal with it. A lot of college students don't have that diversity in perspectives. They haven't had the time in order to build it. So you have it. That's an asset. Yes, maybe they remember a theoretical school project that was successful or failed, but what about a multi-$1,000 or multi-million-dollar project? Wow, you have that to lean in. You have that to pull into your resume. By holding back your perspective, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. People need your insight. Give it to them. Ask yourself, what diversity can I bring to the team? So right now we've got 3 questions out there. What are my life experiences? What are my transferable skills? What diversity can I bring to a team? Now, the next one, technology is in increasing demand. Yeah, this might be obvious, but many people think that since there are all sorts of tech layoffs in 2023, that there's no way to get into tech. Well, while it's true, there are some layoffs going on, even right now as I prepare this video for you. The fact is that those layoffs are happening at the expense of completing projects. They are happening at the expense of watering down deliverables. The reason is due to poor financial positions that these large companies have and assets that these companies cannot offload quickly enough to make their books look good. It's not a general problem across all of business in the US. It is a big business problem because of the way that they've got them locked themselves in to assets. So don't think that just because people are being laid off in tech jobs that you cannot get a job in tech. That is a lie. This is happening to big companies, not the small ones. And the fact is that demand is increasing and will continue to increase. Good companies are tech companies that provide a service or sell something. They can be big, they can be small, but they are tech companies nonetheless. Tech is everywhere. Every company is a tech company in some aspect of what they do. So ask yourself this: what small to mid-sized companies are in my area that I might be interested in being hired by? So go after that, get that information. So that's another question. I'm going to summarize all the questions at the end. Continued learning and education. Most employers have incentives for those who acquire additional learnings and skills. You learn a new skill just like anybody else learns a new skill, but you have a secret weapon. You have a secret weapon. Your existing experience, that is your secret weapon. When you take your existing life experiences and challenges and use the mental hardness that you already have and have applied to learning something new and continued learning, take that mental hardness, that determination, that grit that you have and apply it to learning something new, then it is like you have an unfair advantage. Do you hear that? You have an unfair advantage because you've had to work through some very complicated things. It could be, hey, you know what, being a parent and having kids that are teenagers. But you've got the mental grit and hardness to push through, that you love your kids and you know that when you do the right thing, you're going to pass through some barrier and you're going to get to the other side of that. Many employers pay for this. They pay for your education. You can apply your grit to learning to what they're going to pay for. Be one of those employees who takes advantage of those extra incentives. Okay. That is it. You've got an unfair advantage with your grit. You will turn heads all along the way because you know what? The managers are going to see this guy with all of this life experience. He's really got some determination and really wants to go places and is probably completing some of those training tasks faster than the younger guys. Because there's a desire, there's a motivation that goes deeper than a dollar. Okay. That goes deeper than a dollar in you because you know what? You don't get a paycheck for just being a parent. That comes out of grit and determination. So you need to ask yourself this: what skill would I like to learn that has to do with IT? Okay. Flexibility in learning opportunities and formats. This is another big one. You can stand out by being the first to learn something new. It isn't like the old days when you had to go to a classroom and sit and listen to Mr. and Mrs. Boring and fall asleep to nauseating verbal dross. No, it's not like that. The classroom, the learning now is so interactive, and it can be what you want it to be. It could be listening to an audiobook. It could be sitting and walking through modules. If you're a hands-on learner, there's hands-on learning stuff for you. If you're an auditory person, there's auditory stuff for you that you can do, that you can progress and get your training through those venues. So it doesn't matter anymore what training you like. There is something out there for whatever that training is. So ask yourself this question: how do I like to learn? That's the question you need to ask. Now, the incredible growth potential here. With things changing often in IT, you have an incredible opportunity for growth. You may find yourself getting into a niche that you really love. Maybe that's working with reports. Maybe it's programming, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's incredible growth potential. When you become good at something, your whole team will notice. Find something that you're passionate about and pursue it. So ask yourself this question: what do I think I would be passionate about in tech? Ask yourself that question. Answer that. Innovation. Age is no barrier for innovation. If you like combining technologies, you can be innovative on a daily basis in tech. Your life experiences coupled with tech passion could easily create innovative solutions that no one has ever even thought of. The opportunity for creating and solving tech problems is endless. It's really endless. I just got so many problems on my board and so many little things. And when I think about the innovation, sometimes I'm thinking, man, I wish I had somebody who could solve that problem. So ask yourself this: do I like to solve problems? All right. Those are many great reasons to get into tech. Where's the rub? Fear. You are afraid to get into tech. It could very well be that you are ready to get into tech. And if it wasn't for the fear, you'd already taken that step. Someone took an imaginary pencil and drew an obstacle, fear, in your brain. Now, you need a magic eraser to get started. We have some tips to help you get started, get past that fear. Listen to a podcast we have at itpath.net. Listen to the podcast about 3 voices and how to do some mental detox to get you on your journey. You'll find the link for Spotify and Apple and a direct link straight to just be able to listen online and YouTube and all of that. You'll find that in the description. Go listen to that about fear. See if that resonates with you. Now, let me go back to those questions again. I'm going to give you all those questions. Life experiences. Ask yourself this: what are my life experiences? Transferable skills. Ask yourself this: what are my transferable skills? Diversity in perspectives. Ask yourself, what diversity can I bring to a team? These are all assets that you have. Think about how technology is in increasing demand and ask yourself this question: what small to mid-sized companies are in my area that I might be interested in being hired by? Continued learning and education. What skills would I like to learn that has to do with IT? Flexibility in learning opportunities and formats. Think about, how do I like to learn? Growth potential. Ask yourself, what do I think I would be passionate about in tech? That's an area that you can focus on. And ask yourself, do I like to solve problems? And that couples with innovation. Solve the innovation problem. This is Dana from itpath.net. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I hope that you go and listen to that podcast about fear. Let's break through the fear. Let's get you on your journey. Take your first step into IT. Do not wait. Go now.